Welcome in. This is FanSided. I am Mark Carmen. Pleased to be joined by one of the best young wide receivers in the NFL, Randall Cobb of the Green Bay Packers, with us doing great work with Dick's Sporting Goods. Randall, I guess we got to start at the top here. How long do you think it's going to take you to get over the loss to the Seattle Seahawks? Because that's got to be a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get over it. It definitely is a tough one to deal with.
Did the 12s have any effect on the game? We've been talking about this a bunch where, there's all this stuff about the 12s, and I'm thinking, you know what? These guys are professionals. You can't really give the fans all that much credit, can you?
They're a great fan base, and they definitely came out and supported their team. But for 55 minutes, we handled them perfectly fine. There wasn't even that big of a deal. And unfortunately enough, things just went wrong for us.
Did you have a sense at all during the game where, you guys could have perhaps built up a bigger lead that, just a little bit of, hey, we're kind of putting ourselves in a bad position here?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you can score touchdowns in the red zone and, build a bigger lead, 16 points wasn't that big of a lead. 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and you're back in the lead. So,
right.
If we could have put some points on the board, put up touchdowns instead of field goals in the red zone, that definitely would have been a big help for us.
Fair enough. If you want to follow Randall Cobb on Twitter, you can do so at RCOBB18. Randall, I was going through your tweets today, and I found one where you talked about being that 2-star recruit playing at Kentucky. And now here you are, 24 years old, 227 catches in the NFL, over 3,000 yards, and sitting on free agency with a bunch of teams all looking at you. That's a pretty remarkable uprise that you've had. You got to be is any point in time that you look back to where you thought, you know what, I can do this. I can really get to that level where I can be on this platform?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe I was back in college when I had that feeling. I remember playing Georgia my freshman year, and being able to compete with those guys on that level in the SEC. I think that was a confidence booster for me, and I thought at that point that I really could have opportunity to be able to do some great things. And fortunate enough, I've been given the opportunity, and I'm just trying to make the most of the opportunity that I got.
Can you see yourself in another uniform? Have you even thought about that?
Man, no, I haven't really thought about it. I'm taking it day by day, and just enjoying the process of it all. I'm in a very blessed situation, and I'm very fortunate, to be coming off a great year on a great team, and we'll see what happens. It's just kind of a waiting game to see what happens.
You ever get bored in Green Bay? I mean, it's not the biggest town in America. It's a little cold up there, Randall. You ever, kind of think, it wouldn't be too bad to be living some sunny Miami, Arizona, whatever. Nothing against the Packers, but I'm a Midwest guy myself, and I like warm weather. I live in Chicago. I don't think I necessarily want to be here for the rest of my life.
Yeah, everywhere has its pros and cons. You just have to weigh all those in your decision making.
Fair enough. Has Aaron Rodgers yelled at you anytime recently? I'm wondering what's that like if Aaron's coming at you. That's got to be a little intimidating.
No, not too much lately. We have a pretty good working relationship, and been able to communicate really well on the field and in practice and in games. I really don't hear too much from him. Obviously we want to be on the same page, and we try to be on the same page as best as we can.
Randall Cobb of the Green Bay Packers with us here, FanSided, Sports Illustrated. Did it take you a while to gain his trust, would you say, or did that almost come instant? Just he saw how you went about your business right when you became a Green Bay Packer?
Yeah, definitely. It took a little bit of time. When you're working with a guy that's as detailed as him, you have to be on the same page. And, it took over a year for us to build that chemistry and that relationship, and to be able to be on the same page and be able to make plays in different situations.
Right. Got to earn the man's trust. You're doing great work with Dick's Sporting Goods, and their jersey sales. You're moving up in the world here, Randall. More and more people want that number 18 jersey.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, just to have my jersey being sold. And, you look at what Dick's is doing with the Jersey Report, it's really great. It gives the fans the opportunity to really keep up with what's going on, and having the opportunity to to see what they're doing as far as with the jersey sales, who they're whose jerseys they're buying, and how big of an impact they're making in the jersey sales.
You own anybody's jersey?
Man, I got a lot of guys that I watch and try to keep up with, but there's not one in particular that I really look forward to. There's not one that I really look forward to that I really have to have.
Right, so there's no cornerback or safety or whoever that you want to. Hey, why don't you send me that signed jersey for the time I burned you?
No, I'm a big fan of a lot of guys in the NFL, but I don't have any jerseys. I'm not really into autographs like that.
Okay. Do guys do that where, hey, will you send me a jersey afterwards and sign it for my kid? Is that part of the deal? I know they do that a lot in baseball.
Yeah, we've done that before. I've switched jerseys with a couple of guys, but it's just great. Being able to have that camaraderie with all the guys. It's like a big fraternity for us.
Yep. One of the most exclusive country clubs in the world. Roger Goodell took questions from the media today, Randall. If you were given the pen and paper and the media had, what would you like to ask the commissioner?
If he would ever change the hitting zone. I think with the new all the new developments on the concussion testing and the guys getting fined for it as much as they are. A lot of guys are hitting a little bit lower, and I think that's one of the reasons it caused my injury a couple of years ago. You look at Le'Veon Bell this year. You look at Gronkowski, the hit he took last year. It's been a few instances where we're getting our knees blown out, and that's career-ending. That could be career-ending injury. So it's just tough to see. I think that would be one thing that I would see if he's still willing to look at.
Would you think that most guys would agree with you there that they'd rather have the hit up top than down by the knees?
For sure. Concussions, we understand how serious they are, but we know what we're dealing with. We know what we're facing. We know what how big of an impact sports or those hits are on our body. But if you get your knee blown out and that's the end of your career, you don't have that opportunity to play as long as you may want.
Right. Hey, how'd you end up doing in the GQ competition, by the way? You were looking all smooth.
Man, I try to dress I try to dress a little bit, and I had some friends that work over that way and was able to set it up for me.
Are you the type that's has your relies on the ladies to hey, does this look good, or do you have that confidence? I know what to wear. I don't need anybody's assistance because I always ask a female. That's just the way I go.
Yeah, I have that confidence, but also whenever when you have some fashionable ladies around you, it also helps to have their opinions.
Exactly. All right, Randall, appreciate the time. Last one before you go, and you're so accommodating here, working with Dix and talking to the media. Do you think guys like Marshawn Lynch who don't necessarily want to speak to the media, do you think the NFL should force them to do it? Should that be part of your job description?
No, I don't believe it should be. It should be the freedom of speech. I mean, just talking the talk. I mean, he basically is just going out there, and he doesn't want to talk. That's on him. So I don't feel like you should have to make a guy talk or force a guy to talk. And I feel like they're just looking for reasons to find him now.
Right. And as a teammate, let's say after the game, you have a tough loss. It doesn't bother you if, hey, like these guys don't want to talk, so all the media comes to me. That wouldn't bother you?
No, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Fair enough. Hey, Randall, great work with Dick's Sporting Goods. Congratulations with the Jersey Report, and best of luck in free agency. And, hey, here in Chicago, we're hoping that you, go over to the AFC, something like that, because we remember the Chris Conte play, my friend.
That's funny. All right, man, thank you. I appreciate it.
Green Bay Packer wide receiver Randall Cobb at rcobb18 on Twitter. We appreciate him taking the time. I am Mark Carm, and this is FanSided. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheCarm.